Those of you that get in trouble for not showing your work, this is one of the absolute few times I say you don't have to show your work. As a matter of fact, I'd rather you not. And the little subheading after that is mentally multiplying decimals by 10, 100, 1,000. Have we talked about this? And the basic gist of that is this. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's cancel that. We did multiply. Today is dividing. I just looked at the wrong words. And as a quick review, let's see if you remember this. If you have 6.23 times 10, 6.23 times 100, I don't know, 6.23 times 1,000, those you do not need to show any work. And remember, I'd suggest you don't, because if you do it out long ways, people usually, because there's so many zeros, get it mixed up. What was the rule when you multiply by these numbers here? Elijah?
How many zeros was how many places you put the decimal
Right.
backwards?
1 0 means you move the decimal to the right. When you multiply, you are moving the decimal to the right. Okay, so 1 0 means I move this one place to the right, and the answer is 62.3. 2 zeros means I move it 2 places to the right, and it's 623. 3 zeros means I move it 3 places to the right, and you actually have to add a 0 because you ran out of places at 6,230. And I'm pretty sure when I talked about this, I said, 6th grade, guess what you do when you divide by these numbers? Wayne Kavarik, guess what you do when you divide by 10, 100, 1,000?
You move the decimal left.
Correct. And it only makes sense, kids. Why does it make sense? When you multiply, usually you end up with bigger numbers. When you divide, you end up with smaller numbers. It's only when you multiply by fractions or multiply by decimals that you end up with smaller numbers than you start with. And we're not doing that. We're multiplying by big numbers. So if we were doing this, if it was 6.23 divided by 10, 6.23 divided by 100, 6.23 divided by 1,000, like I said, when it's division, you move left. It becomes smaller. I still need 2 children, for those of you who are not always the greatest work ethic. If this is the problem given to you, I still need to see you write this on your paper. Because you don't have to do any more work than put the equal sign and say what the answer is. 6.23 divided by 10, move the decimal 1 place left, it's 0.623. 6.23 divided by 100, you have to move it 2 places left, which means you're going to have to add a 0 in there, equals 0.0623. 6.23 divided by 1,000 means you're going to have to move it 3 places left, which means you're going to have to add 2 zeros on there. Okay. It's relatively a simple sort of thing. And it only makes sense. Let's see what they have in the book here. What about this one? Here's one. 25 divided by 100. Now don't panic, please, because you look and you say, well, there's no decimal there. You can always put decimals in things. Where am I going to put a decimal, Isabel? After the 5 and 25. And then I'm going to move it 2 places backwards. The chunk. You're going to end up with 0.25. $25 divided by 100 means everybody gets a quarter. Or how about this one? 0.5 divided by 100. What am I going to get for that, Jaden? Shoot. How many zeros?
2.
How many places do I move it back? Which means how many zeros are going to be after the decimal? Just 2. That one was one of them. Add one for another one, 0.005. How about 87.5 divided by well, see, we could do this for everything. What if it was 87.5 divided by 1,000,000? What do you suppose? How many places do I have to move the decimal there? How many zeros, Keith?
6.
6. So here you kind of have to keep track by doing little loops. That's why I do the little loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every loop is going to get a 0. So your answer is going to be 0.0000875. If I asked you to say that number out for me mathematically, what would it be? Does anybody think they have it? Really? Nobody can say that number out? Nobody? Riley?
875 million.
Wow. And there's where you have to be careful. Let's check and see. Tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millionths, 10 millions, yeah, 875 10 millionths is actually what it would be. Did I do that right? I think I did. 875 10 millions.